Hello everyone, in today's video the brand new Tesla Model S 2021 has just come out and we're going to go over my first impressions and we're going to go and view the configurator right now. Alright, so on Tesla's website, the Model S hasn't even changed on their wallpaper right here, but if we click on custom order, then that's where we see everything is all new on here. So here we can see purchase prices of all of these, and they have changed it a little bit. It's about $10,000 more than what it used to be. So what does appear to be the same on this model compared to the old one is that those wheels, those all look very similar to the last one, and they might look a little bit more like the Model Y Gemini wheels, but those are the exact same ones to me, it looks like. Something else that looks very similar to the new Model 3 and Ys is that all that trim is now blacked out on the outside. Over here by the fog light housings, that also appears to be a different bumper, and it also seems that the air opening right over here is a little bit bigger and probably to go and accommodate for the new Plaid and Plaid Plus models. As for all the specs on here, the range seems to have gotten improved about 12 miles, and this is most likely due to the heat pump that is going to be added into this. And we can also see that the spec bumps are a little bit higher on all of those models, and the Plaid Plus is the quickest. Before we move on, the estimated delivery is late 2021. If we click on feature details, we can go ahead and see all the acceleration, top speed numbers, and all that stuff is great. But what's extremely impressive is that they now have 3 motors inside of this car instead of just 2. This is just like the Cybertruck that now has 3 motors in them, and this is going to deliver a lot more performance. Alright, so as we move on from the performance, we can see the all-wheel drive specs, the basic autopilot, the charging, which I think is now going to be upgraded over to the full fast charging at superchargers now that there's better cooling and the newer battery tech. They're also advertising the Century mode, which the car now has a flash drive that comes with it in the glove box. In this photo we can see the storage in the back, and we can also see all of the new interior stuff, which we're about to go over. Something new over here is that the rear seats can also fold flat by the press of a button, so it's most likely that little electronic release switch, kind of like what the Model Y has right now. So all this on the exterior looks pretty cool. We're going to move on, and it looks like they've also advertised now the horsepower, which is something that Tesla doesn't normally do. Alright, as we keep on moving on, it looks like all the paint colors are about the same at $1,500 each. I'm not sure if those were, I thought they were only $1,000 for a different color, but maybe it is $1,500 each. But they all look the same, and doesn't seem like they've added anything new. And for wheels, you have 2 options. You have the Tempest ones, which again look very similar to those Aero wheels on the new Model Ys. And if we go over to the 21-inch Arachnid wheels, which used to only be a perk if you had enough referrals. Those 21-inch wheels used to only be available to people that actually got enough referrals, and Tesla was able to send those out for free. Now we come down here to the interior, which this thing just looks so different than before. We are now over to the interior of the car, and we can notice a few things. First off, the steering wheel is interesting. It's like it just kind of got cut in half, and you can also see that they still have that little driver information display, but it does look like it's a new form. And something else you'll notice is the giant horizontal screen. Instead of being vertical, it's now horizontal like the Model 3 and Ys. Something that you'll probably notice right here is that this whole center console looks to be a lot bigger than it used to be, and there are no more vents up top. This means that the same kind of vent design that the Model 3 and Y had is probably now carried over to the Model S and soon the Model X. Alright, so going over to the new interior color options, this is white, and this is their beige kind of color. And something that we notice from these is that this dash area right over here, that used to be like a matte black kind of color, but now it's also white along with the seats, and also these armrests that used to be matte black are also going to be white. Alright, so we can see here that they have 3 displays on the car, and it appears that one of them is going to be in the rear, but you have those main 2 up front. Going over into the rear, that is extremely cool to see. So in the rear seats, it looks like they embedded a computer screen into the center console, and I'm not sure if that's going to be running off of that main head unit up here, or if it's going to be its own separate thing, but you can also hook up a wireless controller and also watch movies on it. So that is going to be really cool for passengers in the back. Alright, so right here we can see, like I predicted, all of the climate control stuff is going to be controlled through the screen instead of having physical vents. So if we move over to the steering wheel, we can see that there are no more stocks on here. So I wonder how you're going to end up getting into drive on this car, or going into reverse and everything, because there aren't any more stocks like there normally were. And again, the whole top half of the steering wheel is all cut off. But at least it does give you some good visibility for that little screen up top. And you've also got even more speakers, 22 speaker audio in here. Now we can see that this is also a full glass roof, which just looks awesome. And it also does look like there's only 4 seats in this model. I wonder if you might be able to get that configured with the 5-seat one. We'll go and check that out in a minute. But it also still has that UV light protection, but just like the Model 3 and Model Y. Alright, so here we can see the actual details for all the screen sizes in the front and the rear. And we can see that they actually brought back ventilated front seating, which is something that they took away a few years ago. They also have more ambient lighting, which is actually really interesting since a lot of the models didn't have those. And so I wonder what that's going to look like when people start reviewing this and it comes out in a few months. So there's nothing new over here other than the wireless charging mat in the front. But other than that, it looks like it's all just about the same. And that whole thing I was talking to you about the seating, I think this might just be a 4-seater car now, as I don't see any more options over here. Going down here, you can also go and get the full self-driving. They have new animations for it. But that is it for the Model S 2021. So there were a ton of new improvements in this model, and I'm extremely excited to go and see this. And hopefully when it comes out in around 9 months, I can go and give you guys a tour and show you around the car. If you found this video helpful or useful in any way, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to more tech content every week. That's it for this video, and I'll see you next time on Tech Device News.